Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's live conversation with one of our guests from the Women Thrive Summit. I'm excited to have you here for today's conversation because we are talking about transforming the world through conscious leadership with my guest, Kawtar El Alaoui. Hi, Kawtar, how are you?
Hi, Raimonda. I'm good, thank you. How are you today?
I am wonderful. I know we are from different parts of the world right now. Where are you joining us from?
I'm in Ottawa, Canada, where it's a chilly -10 this morning.
Oof, oof. I thought in London it's cold.
Yep.
Yes.
And- mm,
Amazing. Well, today's conversation is about conscious leadership, and it doesn't matter whether you actually have an official leadership position or you perhaps, have a business, small business, or even your mom, or just thinking about starting something. This conversation is going to be inspiring, empowering, and perhaps eye-opening.
mm.
Well, my guest, if you haven't met Qatar, is Qatar Alawi, who is the number one best-selling author of Unholding, Unfolding Peace, Nine Leadership Principles to Create Cultures of Well-Being, Belonging, and Peace. Her work supports servant leaders. Yes, I love that book. So her work supports servant leaders and purpose-driven organizations to become powerful change agents by bridging the purpose, whole brain leadership, and effective strategy in service to a better, more prosperous world. And I love this topic because I believe in today's world, we need more examples of great and positive leadership. And conscious leadership is just what we need right now to be much more conscious of what's going on in the world and how do we and our work and the things that we do around us really affect us. Now, Qatar, why is this topic important to you? Why are we even speaking about this?
Well, the topic is really important for me, Ramonda, because we're in a time in history where there is so much change, and a lot of people seem to feel disempowered by the change. And that's something I personally understand because I have felt disempowered in my life. I have gone through the shifts of looking for what works, recognizing that the current paradigm really isn't working very well. And so, as the time that we're going through right now has so much what looks like upheaval and chaos externally, it's important that we bring a message to people that this is also a time of profound awakening and opportunity for humanity. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to work with businesses and with people creating social systems like policy to really fast forward this change.
And I think that's what I think a lot of people, although there are a lot of changes, I still don't feel like we have enough leadership for positive change, conscious change, the change that would positively impact the world around us. So, how can we start taking steps in our own lives and our own societies and communities to make more conscious decisions around us?
Well, like the title says, conscious leadership, really the first step is to make the unconscious conscious. And that's why I think this work is so simple in some ways and yet so profound because what we need to experience is a change in the current paradigm. Because so far we live in a world that's left brain dominated, and the left brain has brought us where we are. It has had some really good advantages, but we've also reached its limit. And so now we need to start leading with whole brain. And research does show that when we lead with whole brain, we have more holistic outcomes. And so we really need to start by unlearning some of the beliefs that we've taken on. For example, one of the beliefs is that a company can't be prosperous and at the same time do good. Or another belief that's really disempowering is that diversity is not really helpful for companies, or that it should only be done for humanity. The reality of it is, diversity brings so much more to spaces because who we are as humans is diverse by nature. And as long as we're fighting our very nature, we're working fighting ourselves. And so we can't really get the outcomes.
Wow, I love that. And I think a lot of the times they say, well, if your organization only does good, it can't make profit. And I highly disagree with that as well. because your business can be doing good things and positive things and make positive impact and be successful and profitable.
Absolutely, it can. And there's a lot of research. The great thing about doing this work at this time in history is that now there is research that bridges everything that used to be thought of as only spiritual practices or beliefs. And so now the left brain is supported in that shift as well, because there is science, there's research that's behind it, and research has shown companies become more profitable once they change to a purpose driven paradigm. What we do also need to recognize is that yes, there is a time when we're in a transition, like all big transitions, where things might decrease a little bit. Productivity might decrease a little bit. Profitability might decrease for a little bit. But only visionaries recognize that that's temporary. And that's a temporary phase that actually sets you up to move faster and better from a stronger foundation.
Yeah, I truly believe that, and that power also lies within each and every one of us. Of us. As much as we can rely on organizations and societies that we're part of or communities, this change in the paradigm, I believe, starts with us. What's your take on it?
Absolutely, I agree with that. And in fact, I write about that in my book. For me, self leadership is the foundation of collective transformation
Hmm.
because this work is about changing how we perceive life, how we understand ourselves as human beings. And it can only happen when we change those deep seated beliefs, which happens at the individual level. And that's also why I think systemically it's important for us to recognize that, for example, mothers who do unpaid work do work that is just as valuable as any CEO on the planet.
Yeah.
And so it does take a lot of grappling with the old paradigm to release it, and that can only start at the individual level.
So this month we are celebrating Women's History Month, and I am passionate about seeing more women embracing leadership. And I don't mean just taking leadership roles, but embracing leadership for this important month and beyond, because this could be just a seed that we plant within few individuals or some individuals around the world. What could we do? What we as women could do to drive more conscious leadership in the world?
I think the biggest thing we can do as women is embrace visibility and embrace our power.
Mm,
Because power in the old paradigm is seen as force. But women have a deep connection to that innate inner power that comes from inner conviction. They have a lot of courage because we've had to grapple historically with a lot of problems that the solutions didn't necessarily come from the outside. And they have a lot of empathy. And so once we move past our fears and blocks of visibility and of becoming not only visible, but also going towards people who are perceived to have power and say, you know what, I have some solutions here. Who are the allies out there that are looking for what I can bring? And so I think when women do that inner work, they become powerful change agents.
I love that. And how can we play a bigger role? So we step into our visibility and step into our roles and start to find allies in the work that we're wanting to do. But how can we play even bigger role than where we are today?
Well, that's really just about making a decision. I think when we feel that call internally to play a bigger role, we just have to recognize that every other level of our lives is going to take us through a journey. And so we set a firm intention that we're going to show up, we're going to define who we are, not let ourselves be defined by society,
Wow.
and do the inner work that's required until we get to that next level.
Yeah. And I could speak from experience on this very same thing. It takes time, it takes personal development, it takes growth, and it takes accepting your role in a society and really taking the ownership of it. And as you say, the visibility part is a huge importance, but taking the ownership of your role and what's possible when you step into your greatest purpose and you step into your leadership position And it may just take a little bit of time warming up to this whole idea. I am a leader. And I met, I had even some of my staff members and people that I've surrounded my business with. I said, well, I never really seen myself as a leader. But over the years, I have had to step into the shoes of leadership.
Yes,
And it doesn't happen overnight. You might not see yourself as a leader today, but you can make a difference. What's your
absolutely.
story, Qatar? I'm just curious for our audience to also get to know a little bit more about your background story and how you ended up doing the work that you're doing today.
Yeah, thank you, Ramonda. Well, my story has been really one of realizing that we are the leaders we've been waiting for. And how that happens is I graduated from law school thinking that, like many women, thinking I was going to have the future ahead of me and the future was bright and I was going to be able to have an impact and serve the causes that matter to me. And soon after, I found myself really confronted with some of the dysfunctional beliefs that I had around who I am, around my role as a woman, and my role as a woman of color in a society where I'm an immigrant. And so I've really had to do a lot of work to find out. At first, I approached it as a victim, of course, because that's the old paradigm. A lot of us believe things are happening to us. And my journey has been one of uncovering how do I keep having these outcomes that are the opposite of what I want? And so constantly being confronted with a different reality and thinking, well, I see others have that reality. How come I can't? And so it's been this journey. And I think the bigger shift happened for me when I embraced my purpose and I let go of my first career, when I found um, that courage to let go, which some people would have thought career suicide because so much of it fit the paradigm of you don't leave a secure job. You don't leave a job where you have a retirement fund, a job where you have a position that you will have for the rest of your life, that it wasn't working for me. And so I had to understand that life is really an individualized journey. And purpose seems to be the doorway that transforms us from the wounding phase to the phase where we become that powerful leader that we thought we could be, but we were never able to be. And that's what it has been for me. And that's why I love to work with women and men unfolding their purpose, because the paradigm of purpose, by its own definition, is one that's uniting and empowering. And so, purpose is like this beautiful personal development course that the universe made just for each one of us.
Wow. It totally is. I think life is journey. And if you embrace that learning curve and you embrace that journey of just growth, you will see transformation. But if you just keep staying in the same place and you just like, oh, complain about what's going on in the world, and you just like, well, there's nothing I can do. I don't have big resources. I don't have this. You just end up in a victim mode, as you were just saying. It's so easy to slip into that victim mode and say we're quite helpless in all of this. The
Yeah,
truth is, collective individually, we have the power to make at least small change, and when we come together collectively, we have even bigger power to make a huge change.
absolutely. And I want to add to that. I think what's really important as well, and at least what really matters to me, is that in that paradigm shift, there is a school of thought that says you just have to push through the obstacles and you get there. And for me personally, I found that to be more injuring than helpful. And so I've had to really find out what are trauma informed ways that we can move through disempowerment into a place of power. What are also the social obstacles that we need to move through in terms of inequity? And so I'm really passionate about bringing a trauma informed lens and equity driven lens to leadership. For me, that's really the uniqueness, and that's what's missing.
Mm.
We see a lot of leadership programs that succeed to a certain degree, absolutely. And yet, because they don't have the consciousness of trauma informed relating, they still create that sense of one person is the hero and one person is the victim. or one person is the villain.
Mm,
People are not equipped to recognize who they are coming into an interaction and to have the self compassion to hold themselves in places where they've experienced trauma, but at the same time hold themselves accountable for healing what they need to heal.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, Qatar, you are one of our VIP speakers at the Women Thrive Summit, and it's such a timely conversation to be having about the conscious leadership and running this women empowerment event. So, Qatar, what is the talk at the Women Thrive Summit that you're delivering for our audience March 20th to 24th?
Yes, my talk is going to be about purpose because purpose, like I said, is really that vessel. The moment one says, I am willing to embrace purpose, I think our life changes, something opens up in us. And so my talk is about how purpose heals you and changes the world in the process.
Wow.
Because that's been my personal journey. And I am trained as a true purpose coach.
Mhm.
I am also a coach with other modalities, and I bring a lot of different lenses and views to purpose and to just the work of bringing coherence to who we are as an individual and also to the systems we navigate. And so I'm really excited to share with the women who are coming to the summit some about my journey and also how we can use these tools to create a better world together.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't shy away from stepping into your leadership and purposeful leadership. As we're talking today about conscious leadership, but I just want to remind people don't shy away. And this might feel intimidating, especially for women. Hey, I'm not a leader. You know what I mean? It could feel really intimidating. I just want to say, don't feel intimidated by the word. Imagine the impact once is driven by the purpose, because each and every one of you have, purpose of being here. You might have a dream, a goal that's driven by your own experience, maybe your own trauma, your own passions. And the truth is, you can make a difference. And sometimes you don't have to shy away from this position of leadership. It's going to help you elevate that and drive it forward. And whatever your mission is, you can drive that with stronger leadership skills and awareness of how you can make a bigger difference and a bigger impact in the world.
Absolutely. And I want to say to the women who might feel intimidated by the idea of leadership, I really want to meet you during my talk because I know what that was like. I was there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you just so open and honest just to say, hey, I was there too, and I had to go through my own journey of healing and transformation and owning my space in this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So for those of you watching this live or watching this on replay, what I want to say to you, if you haven't learned about the Women Thrive Summit, I encourage you and invite you to head over to womenthrivesummit.com. Well, this is our annual Women Empowerment event that happens every March. And this year we have over 50 amazing, amazing women who have incredible stories, passion for making a positive change in the world. And during the week of the summit, 20th to the 24th of March, you get to meet all these women live and virtual. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I know a lot of people ask me, well, where's your event happening? Well, it's
Mhm.
happening right here online on Zoom. And you get to meet these incredible women live. That means you can interact, ask questions, be present, experience the magic. And during the summit, we have things like finding your purpose, finding your passion, finding your confidence. We're talking about leadership, also career transformation, um, business transformation. We're talking about visibility, marketing, business, and finance, as well as more, I guess, softer skills, or not just skills, but inner transformation, inner healing, and uncovering some parts of ourselves that really needs to be uncovered in order to find our purpose. So I invite you right now to head over to Women Thrive Summit, register. There are free tickets as well as some paid tickets if you wanted to take bigger participation in this event, and share it with someone. If you're watching this right now, share it with the world, because I think there are so many people that need to be reached. My goal personally is to reach 1 million women every year in one small way, minute way, we could just through the social media live, through this conversation, through this event, through just a word, we can impact somebody's life and who will go on to impact so many other lives. That for
Absolutely.
me is my mission achieved. Any
Mm.
last words from you, Guitar, before we start to wrap up today's live?
Thank you, Ramonda. I would say I am really looking forward to meeting the women who will step into the event with us. And if you think that you can change the world, this event is definitely for you. And if you think that you can change the world, this event is definitely for you. So just come as you are.
Yeah. And it's opportunity for all of us women to come together, celebrate this Women's History Month, and it's not
Absolutely.
just about celebrating the women who made history. I believe that everyone can make new history. So head over to womenthrivesummit.com and register for your spot and invite some of your friends. Guitar, how can people get in touch with you if they feel inspired by today's conversation?
Oh, thank you. My website is conscioustogetherness.com. So www.conscioustogetherness in one word.com. And they can find me on social media as well. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
Beautiful. So do make sure you connect with Qatar, or if you feel inspired, leave a comment below, and I know she will come back and answer any of your questions or engage with your comments. It'd be beautiful to see who watched this on replay as well. But for now, I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. I hope you become more aware and thoughtful about conscious leadership and join Qatar for her amazing talk at the summit in March. Thanks, Qatar. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Raimonda. Thank you
Look
to
forward to
those
seeing
who
you.
are watching. Bye.
Thanks. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.